Alright, we're going to move on to lesson 5.11 here, which is quadratic equation, which is actually the same thing 5.10 was over. But this will review it one more time, give you a chance to practice it here today. So we'll review the quadratic equation. We'll do one example here together, and then there's going to be one at the bottom that you guys have to do on your own before you turn in these notes today. Alright, the quadratic equation, the big idea is it finds roots. Okay, how it finds those roots, a lot like factoring was a way of finding where those roots were so we could graph it more easily. The quadratic equation also finds those roots so we can find the answers or quickly, or we can graph it easily. So it's like this: negative b plus or minus square root. Inside that square root is b squared minus 4 times a times c, or 4ac, and the whole thing is over 2a. Okay, and then it's for a quadratic, so like in other words, ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that's where we get our a, our b, and our c. Remember, this got to be the standard form, or get it equal to 0, we could say, or get it equal to y. Get it in the standard form there. Okay, so example number 1, if you want to write this down, y equals 3x squared plus 10x, there's supposed to be an x there, minus 25. And you could say, well, why don't I just factor it like I did before? Well, factoring was kind of a pain in the butt. This is an alternative to factoring, okay? It's a different way, because this would be quite hard to factor, actually. Alright, so write down what your a is, what your b is, and what your c is. A is the first coefficient, the 3, b is the 10, and c is the negative 25. Okay, and then we're just going to fill in our formula. So negative b goes here, plus or minus. Write it all down here: 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times negative 25. That's the 4ac up here. 4 times a times c, all over 2 times a, which is 3. Okay, write that down and then take it step by step from there. 10 squared is 100. 4 times 3 times negative 25. Well, I'm going to do the 3 times 25. Actually, I'm going to do the 4 times 25 first. Is 100. 100 times 3 is 300. You can multiply those in any order. It's going to come out the same. But it comes out to negative 300. So it's minus negative 300, right? Which is really a plus. Okay, it's minus, and this is negative 300. Follow that? So that's why it's a plus 300 there. That's where a lot of people make a mistake on that sign. And then 2 times 3 obviously is 6. Okay, so negative 10 plus minus square root of 400 over 6. Keep going. Square root of 400 is 20. For now, these are going to come out to nice numbers, these square roots here. 20 times 20 is 400, right? Now we got two answers, so I'll split this in two. You got negative 10 plus 20 over 6, and the other one's going to be negative 10 minus 20 over 6. You got to show both of those answers. So negative plus 10 plus 20 is 10 over 6, which reduces to 5 over 3, or actually 1 2/3. And then negative 10 minus 20 is negative 30 over 6, which is negative 5. So then I'd say make a table and a graph of this, showing those roots like we did before. So one root's at negative 5. That means if I put in negative 5, I get out a 0. Alright, just like before, just like with factoring it. This is a root. Okay, 1 2/3 is the other root. That one I wouldn't have been able to get easily, right, from factoring. Okay, let's get one other point in between. Probably 0 would be a nice one to get. Plug in 0. I'm going to go back to my original equation and plug in 0. Well, 0, 0, negative 25. So if I were to graph this out, just make a little graph, it would be our root at negative 5 a root at 1 2/3, which is almost a 3, right? I'm sorry, almost a 2. And then if I count by 5s, maybe going down 10, 20, 10, 15, 20, 25. My y-intercept was at negative 25. So you get an idea of the shape of the graph. It doesn't quite give me a whole lot of detail, but enough to draw this curve. I know it's doing something like that. Okay, so your goal for this is do this one on your own here. If you want to write this down, y equals 4x squared minus 5x plus 1. Use the quadratic formula, or sorry, quadratic equation to find the roots. Just like I did up here, you're going to make a table with 2 roots and one other point. And one other point. Oh boy, other point. And then also sketch a graph using those 3 points. Okay, that's all you got to do here for today is go through that one problem, but do all of these things for that one problem, then you snap a picture and turn that in. Alright, have a good day, guys.